I believe that for the good of future generations, we should try and document our lives, especially when we have something good to offer future generations.
Every story of every human being who's ever walked this planet is valid. And the more we organize and the more we rally around each other and our stories, and the more they're recognized by the rest. Because at the end of the day, charity begins at home. But I think the sophisticated responsibility where we now enter the realm of creating, we now enter the realm of contextualizing what we create, and then where we enter the realm of documenting what we've created. I think this is the most sophisticated thing that we will do.
To now have a situation where we're able to do all this, including the film documentary, which we premiered in London last October. That was really a very high point of this Asaba Massacre journey. And now, put that together with other materials that have been built up over the years for submission to this archive center in Norway. It's a phenomenal feat.
It is very significant because for Justice Idibwe to be considered worthy to be in such a vote means international recognition of his work. And in Nigeria, he's had great impact on thinking in the judiciary.
You're welcome to this epoch-making event. The first ceremony to celebrate our depositors, February 2026. February 2026. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We are going to show some documentary people and watch that. Asking what and then afterwards, I'll have a chairman to speak. Thank you very much.
Couple religious institutions that wants to store the data.
We approached important legacy archives, important legacy platforms, and I am so glad and grateful to God that in our list of 12 depositors this year, we have some of the most distinguished Nigerians, some of the most important Nigerian archives, both public sector, private sector, and individual. It really is a thing of pride to us. Let me take you a bit of a journey through the Arctic World Archive deposit of this year. We have been, as I said, testing the market, but we said this year, 2026, is the year we get this done. Late 2025, I sat down with my board and I said, one way or another, this has to happen, and we have to make it happen properly. So what we will do, we will create an intense engagement with our stakeholders. And we had a short list. And I'm so glad to say that of our short list of 14 stakeholders, 12 signed with us. I'm going to pay tribute to he calls me his boss, and I sweat when he says that, when he calls me his boss. I sweat really because he's one of the greatest Africans. Omobayemi Shinon is, without question, holds Africa's biggest private art collection. That is not a joke. His investment in heritage, in culture, and legacy is mind-boggling. Olugbile Holloway, the Director General of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, who was the very first depositor, I was like, it's an honor, and the digital, and many of you, if you've been on the NCMM website, Nigeria the National Museum now has a digital version. We can literally take a digital journey through the National Museum, which has never been done before. So we're grateful to him, and that digital copy is now stored at the Arctic World Archive, and it's the Lagos, the mothership, I should say, of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, which is the National Museum Lagos. So this, in summary, are some of the deposits that were made this year at the Arctic World Archive. Now you might ask yourself, okay, yes, fine. So were we in any kind of company? I would say the answer is a big yes, because this year was extremely important for the Arctic World Archive in the sense that this year there was UNESCO, because UNESCO, as you know, United Nations Economic and Sociocultural Organization, is pretty much the host of world global heritage, global cultural heritage. PIQL signed an agreement this year at the Arctic World Archive for the deposit of the UNESCO World Memory Archive to be placed in the Arctic World Archive. I was present at this ceremony. Thank you. So right now, the Arctic World Archive is the repository of the world's memory. It's not just a slogan, it's actually quite practical. Aside from the deposit of the UNESCO Global Heritage deposit, there was also many of you might have heard of Band-Aid, which is the famous fundraising initiative, which is about 41 years old now. The video documentary on the Do They Know It's Christmas video were deposited by the BBC this year. That's not all. Guinness deposited its archive, its whole archive, in the Arctic World Archive this year in digital format, represented by the global head of heritage. If you've heard of Frédéric Chopin, the composer, the Frédéric Chopin Institute in Poland were present and deposited his digital versions of his original scores, handwritten, were deposited this year. I could go on. The Brazilian judicial records were deposited this year, among several others. So we were in very good company, and what it meant essentially was just that your archives weren't just disappearing into some ether. This is a well-recognized initiative, a well-recognized archive. So all these incredible legacy items from Nigeria joined this. Now, that's not all. I mean, for years, the Arctic World Archive has been the home for some incredible collections. The Scream by Edvard Munch, the digital version is stored there. The digital version of the Taj Mahal, all stored at the Arctic World Archive. GitHub's open source codes, Microsoft's GitHub outsource codes are stored with us. Beyond that, we have the Indian judicial records are stored there. So literally, I think it's what the doctrine of covering the field. As long as it is data, as long as it is towards the preservation of memory, PIQL serves to fill that niche. And I'm glad that at least UNESCO have given that seal of approval for the work we do and shown us the way to the future. I mean, I don't need to oversell the PIQL technology to you. I think you've seen the films. So today, we decided to invite our stakeholders, because it's not just enough to have just collected your archives, put it away and say, okay, sorry, we're looking for the next cohort. I think it is important to say thank you, to say a big thank you to our depositors. Thank you to those who may not have deposited with us, but who at least have taken the time to come here and join us in this conversation. Thank you all very much, for being here. What we're going to do now is, because we've told you that we went to deposit your archives in Svalbard, but I think we should probably show, because let's show evidence of this journey. So we've got a 19-minute documentary clip that traces the journey of the deposit. I traveled to Svalbard with Mr. Esuna Onoha, who's the CEO of PIQL West Africa, and I would say it was an epic journey. But at the end of the day, it was a truly glorious ceremony. I think I have spoken long enough. So what we're going to do now, we're going to screen that documentary for 19 minutes, and thereafter we'll go straight to the business of presenting the certificates and thanking you properly for coming. Thank you so much.
Sambola mama daku mwanem. Sambola mama daku mwanem. Oke chukwu nyere mi nwanem de. Ihe mmanụ kaya jeju. Sambola mama daku mwanem. Sambola mama daku mwanem. Oke chukwu nyere mi nwanem de. Ihe mmanụ kaya deju nwanem. Amogo ukwala
And our story starts back in 1759 when our company was founded by Arthur Guinness after whom our company is.
Actually, unfortunately, he couldn't join us because of the flights. He had to go back to Warsaw. So the Friedrich Chopin Institute was established in 2000.
Hello everybody, this is Dr. Evelyn Odibo, the Director National Archives. I'm bringing you greetings from Nigeria at this epoch-making event of Nigeria's debut at the Arctic World Archives. It's indeed a very beautiful time for us here in the National Archives. We are highly elated by this event, and it's a big congratulations to every Nigerian out there bringing their deposits. And I want to assure you that even though I am not physically there with you, but I'm there in spirit.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ed Emeka. I am on the board of PIQL Nigeria, and I am proud to say that this is our first deposit. I'm here with my colleague, the CEO, Mr. Esin Onoha. And we are here to represent quite a few bodies. We have about 11 depositors. But I will start at the beginning because we have a very short time and I'm going to be checking my watch. The Asaba Monument Trust. Now, the Asaba Monument Trust is a trust that was set up to commemorate an event that happened in October 1967.
Distinguished guests, custodians of memory, and friends of Africa. Today, Nze and I stand here not merely as representatives of institutions, but as representatives of memory itself from our continent.
Camila, it's a great pleasure.
Actually predicted to come from the country that will be the winning country of the future, Nigeria. And I was really touched by your presentations, because for me this is so personal, and then it becomes personal for us as well.
I can run to 250.
No, we leave together, so nobody leaves just like
Part of what we're here for is to present your certificates What his contributions to our artistic, creative and cultural legacy, and his own legacy are legendary, you know. May we all be together to continue to share in his glorious. Oh, but this is your certificate with a barcode that signifies your deposit in the Arctic World Archive. Not your the deposit. This is just a sample of what PIQL film looks like. Sir, thank you. I'm grateful to you.
Thank you. Socrates said, and I quote, that the greatest attribute of noble minds are gratitude and humility. I want to thank you, and I want to encourage all of us to please continue to do things that will demonstrate purposeful living.
Here with us to signal this and to have the privilege of depositing his archive.
Good evening, everybody, my other depositors. It's really an honor to be here, and on behalf of my father, Owele Gilbert Chikelu, he's 95 and will be 96 this year, and sends his best regards, and my brother, the founder of the Owele Gilbert Chikelu Foundation, we say a very big thank you.
Many of you may not know him. The lawyers here know him or know of him. I was not old enough to appear before him, you know, but I can tell you categorically that this was one of the greatest lawyers to walk under Nigerian skies, one of the greatest jurists. He journeyed towards obtaining the consent of his son, his very distinguished son, Chief Anthony Idigbe SAN, who sadly could not be here because he's at Kuru, at NIPS, represented by Mr. Adeyinka Abdul Salam, who is the litigation partner at Punuka, and many of you may not know, lawyers know Punuka Chambers, one of Nigeria's biggest law firms, a truly distinguished litigator himself. We're both members of the Board of Trustees of the Nigerian Legal History Society.
I would just say thank you to Chief Head. I think it's an honor and a privilege for us to be part of this journey with you. And I want to thank you for putting us on the road map again.
Thank you all for coming, and I want to thank the National Council for Arts and Culture. I'm just going to hand this over to you. This is your certificate, but I know you've had it prepared.
But you know, Auntie, civil service arrangement. My guy is an erudite speaker. I can't talk like him. And the way the thing is set up, I will do the honors to just try and read a brief speech from him. What we are doing by placing our stories, our archives, our knowledge into the Arctic World Archive is ensuring that the African voice is not just heard today, but will be heard in aeons, that is thousands of years from now.
Dear Sister Ugoma Ibila is not here with us. She's the founder of Bloom Art in Barikola. I have spoken previously about how important Bloom Art in Barikola is to our cultural universe. Ugoma, we celebrate you, and Emma, thank you for representing her. Please, this is a certificate on behalf of, obviously, this signifies the deposit that you made at the archive, which obviously is quite a lot of, a broad swathe of content, which now is preserved forever.
Your Highness, Chief, thank you very much. I'm representing OOPL, not the former president. Who am I? However, we want to thank Chief Emeka. However, on behalf of OOPL, myself and everybody, we want to thank you for all that you have done for us. What we have out there is the beginning.
Yes.
History will tell. The future will tell.
And to the Arctic World Archives, it is such an honor beyond belief that we would be amongst the first Africans to be a deposit to this very important moment in time. We're honored to be part of all the other depositors. Good evening, and thank you. We're so honored to be amongst them.
Thank you very much, Emeka. Good evening, everybody. You're going to forgive my slight tardiness. I'm usually on time for functions. For some reason, we got mixed and I thought it was 7 o'clock. so forgive me.
Just okay, you.
PIQL is a journey that I got drawn in somehow by a young man called Esona from Imo State. And because probably of where I come from, I understand the importance of archiving. We as Africans have not done very well. And then Nigerians, and especially from the East, we have done very, very badly in being able to archive our stories, our life, our legacy. So what Emeka is doing is wonderful. And I'm going to say this, maybe I shouldn't have said it, but we were also in the process of putting together our own papers. And before you did what you did, so we didn't have enough time. We're still working on it, of course. So hopefully the next time you're going to do that, we'll be a part of it.